Hi everybody, welcome back to exercise 3 in our SQL and database class. So today what we're basically going over is the update and the delete functions in SQL. So what we are going to do first is download the two files, test3.java and the jar file from this GitHub page. So yeah, we did the last time. If you need a refresher, please go back to the last exercise. So then, now I'm going to go through line by line and show you how test3 works. And then we're going to add these two blocks of code, so the update and the delete. And then, yeah, we're going to compile it and run it with those two commands. And then I'm going to submit this. So yeah, let's get right to the code. So if we go up to the top, this is all similar to what we did before in the previous exercise. So we have our connection statement and prepared statement and result set third objects. These are really our main SQL queries that we're going to run. And as you can see here in the first one, after we set up a connection to John using the password and the test database, we're going to create some SQL statements. So we're going to connect those statements, have the connect stream tied into with these statements. The first one, and we're going to execute and send this query to the database, and then we're going to do the second one. So the first two basically set up the database. So the first one says drop table if exists student. So if there's a student table that is currently existing, we're going to drop it, basically delete it. And so the next one, that basically clears out any database that we had previously worked with. So if you run this program over and over, we might be writing over on top of ourselves and it'd get messy. So you want to clear out first. The second one just creates the student table, the relational table. And there's three attributes, name, address, status, and the fourth one is actually the primary ID. And of course these are chars, characters. Now, though these two are basically creating a database. So the next statement right here is a dynamic one. So that's why we need to use prepared statement objects. And as you can see here, this is the string for the query. We're inserting into the student table a new tuple. And the tuple, we don't know what it is yet. That's why there's these question marks. And so in the next lines, we set the strings for the first, second, and third question marks. So they can correspond to these name, address, and status. The name, the address, and the status. So once we have concatenated those strings together to create our final query, we're going to just execute the update for this prepared statement. We don't really need anything inside the parameters. So that is adding our first tuple to the database dynamically. And secondly, we're going to add one statically. So we're going to use this fourth query right here, and as you can see, it's similar to the one on top, but now we, instead of question marks, we just have actual names inside of here, strings inside there, shall I say. Okay, so then after that, we just want to see what we have in our database. So we're going to execute a query that selects all the tuples, and then we're going to write it and save it inside the result set. This method, write result set, is what we had last exercise. I'm going to pass in a result set object. I can go down and show you what this does. Basically, I did this last time, but it as long as there's a tuple left in the set that came back from the query, it's going to print out basically a tuple. So because it's in a while loop, you're going to basically print out all the rows that are inside this database. As you can see here, it grabs an int with ID column, and it stores an ID, and I'm going to print out ID. Alright, so go back up here. Once we visualize what we have inside of our database, we're going to perform some updates and deletes. So the first one is the first update statement. So we're going to do this one up here, number 5. This is what it says, update student. So we're going to update, that's the keyword, from the student database. And then we're going to, this is what we're going to update, and then we're going to make sure the key is that it's this dude that we're updating, his street, his address. So after that is set and that is executed down here, we're just going to write out the result set. After we've once again copied all the, we've queried all the students. So the next one we're going to try out is delete. So similar up here, we're going to delete from that database student using the filter this name, Xiang Lu. So it will delete him, and we should see after we write out the database again that there's only one left. And so these next two queries, this big one, update and delete, are basically doing an update and a delete dynamically because we just did both of them statically. So the first one, we use prepared statements again. This query right here is just right here, and we have question marks again, so we're going to update the student database, and then the set, the address and the name will be set to these two, and then we're going to execute that update and then print it out again. The problem is here is we just deleted Xiang Lu's tuple, so he shouldn't really exist, so there should be no change. We can't update what we don't have. So next, we're going to delete. Delete, that's the keyword, from the student database, where the name is something. And we're going to use prepared statements again. Here's the name. So again, we're going to have a problem where we already deleted him, he doesn't really exist. So after you execute, and you'll write out all the databases again. Finally, at the end, we're going to catch any exceptions and close. And close, as you can remember, just closes all of the 3 objects. Now let me show you what this looks like when you run it. So I'm going to move into where my I've saved these files. I saved them into this directory, workspace CSC 4710, and I'm going to run this command to compile. Looks good. Now I can run. So as you can see here, first we've loaded Xiang Lu's address in dynamically, then John's. Now we're going to update the database. As you can see now, he's got new Main Street instead of Main Street, and we didn't do anything to him, so he stays the same. So now we're deleting Xiang. As you can see, only John's left, so we deleted Xiang. And then secondly, we're going to update Xiang, but he doesn't exist, so nothing really changes. We still got John Liu. And then secondly, we're going to delete the student, Xiang Lu. But John is deleted here, which is quite concerning. Perhaps I didn't save. Let's try that again. Right, so now this is how it should look. So as you can see here, John Liu, I gotta stop doing that. John Liu is still here. These last 2 ones, nothing changed. So to show that it is actually working, let's change the name. Let's update Xiang Lu's address to 4600 Cass Avenue. Oh, but we just deleted him. Let's update John Liu's address to 46 Cass, and let's see if that works. And then at the end, we'll delete John Liu. Of course, using user input here would be great. So I'm going to compile and then run. So as you can see, these should all be the same. This is the first delete. Yep. So these are the two new ones. And yep, John Lee's address is now 4600 CAS, and now there's no John Liu because we deleted him. So yeah, that's basically the update and the delete functions. So thank you for watching. That is all. I'll catch you in the next exercise.